Hello and welcome into the rundown from Exposure Baseball here with the man, the myth, almost legend, Brandon Turner. This is Greg Payne. We are bringing you this week's edition of the rundown. We're going to talk about college baseball. We're going to talk about high school baseball. We're going to talk about all things exposure. Brandon, let's get going. What do you got to say for yourself?
It was a good week, not just for our college guys, but high school guys. High school, they're kind of getting to the thick of their districts, and some people are starting to separate themselves a little bit, and so it's good to see that. But just to jump into it, college-wise, Paul Comastak, he's one that's quietly, starting to jump onto the scene here. 8 for 14, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs for Cincinnati. Tyler Shaver continues to be dominant. John Rhodes, 3 for 11 against LSU this past weekend. Hunter Wolf, 4 for 9, double, home run, 5 RBIs for TCU. Sean Kearney, it's great to see this. Huge weekend, 6 for 12, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs. He's one that, got to play some of his freshman year, got to play some of his sophomore year. And this, we're to the point now where, by my sophomore year, if I'm not starting every game, I'm out of here. And I give him a lot of credit for, sticking with it, not, jumping ship, not, heading for the hills. And it's good to see him having some success here because he's such a good player. He's a guy that can do a lot of different things. He can play a lot of different positions, but he's a Knox Catholic kid, and it's good to see him having some success at ETSU this past weekend. Andre Tarver, he was 3 for 6 this past weekend for Chipola against Northwest. He had 2 RBIs, but then let's see, Monday he was 3 for 3, home run, 3 RBIs. Good to see him kind of hopefully getting rolling here. Zach Lampton, inning and a third, no hits, no runs for FIU. Lance Dockery, 4 for 7 against Chattanooga State, RBI. Tate Daniels, 3 for 4 for Cleveland State. Noah Thigpen had a really big game in game 3 for UT Martin, 2 for 5. I think they beat SIU Edwardsville that game. Paul Bergstrom from Creighton, inning and 2/3, no runs, no hits, struck out 2 against Villanova. Riker Tom's one that, he's been a consistent guy for him the last 2 years, but, just hadn't gotten the opportunities, that I thought he personally would get. But he was 6 for 9 this past weekend for Utah, with 2 doubles, 3 RBIs. Dylan Standifer, 4 for 11 for Lee. Justin Freeman, 3 for 11, 2 RBIs. Brayson Herdsman, Utah. Got a save, inning and 2/3, just 1 hit, no runs against Washington State. Peyton Wigington, MTSU, continues to have a solid year, 6 1/3, just gave up 3 runs, 4 strikeouts. Shamoy Christopher at Tennessee Wesleyan, 3 for 5, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. Hayden Gillian, one of your guys, 3 for 7, double, run scored for Tennessee Tech. Mitch Jebb continues to have a really good freshman year for Michigan State, 4 for 11. 2 doubles, RBI. Jake Peppers continues to throw the ball really well for Jacksonville State, inning and 2/3. Scoreless relief. Darius Garcia out of junior college in Arizona, 4 innings, just 1 run, 5 strikeouts. Micah Jenner continues to do really good things for Carson Newman. He was 2 for 5 going into Monday. Their series got backed up, so they played a doubleheader on Monday. But Matthew Mercer, 2 scoreless innings, 3 strikeouts. And then Dylan Mangini at Lafayette up in Pennsylvania, 4 for 13, double, 3 RBIs against Navy. So again, some new names, some names that are, we consistently bring up. Parker Nolan, he hit a home run this past week in the win for Vanderbilt against Georgia. Then last night, he also had another 3-run home run for Vanderbilt. So good to see him continuing to roll. One guy that, we talk about every week right now, he showed he was at least normal this past weekend is John Barrons. He didn't have the weekend he usually has been having, but then he came out yesterday. He was 2 for 4, 3 for 4, something like that. So back to his normal self. But one guy that I'm really, really excited about, and I've brought him up multiple times. In my personal opinion, he's one of the best players we've ever had, and that's Andre Tarver. He's a guy that is an unbelievable athlete. He's a great kid. Got drafted in the 15th round out of high school. Now he's down at Chipola. He's one of those guys that a lot of things for him is a comfort thing. And then you could tell he's starting to get comfortable. I think he's up to like 325 now. And like we've talked about, hitting at Chipola is a little bit different than hitting in some other states. Junior college is down there. You're seeing, 94, 97 instead of, 83, 87. So it's good to see him starting to get rolling here, and excited to kind of keep up with his track record here the next 2 or 3 weeks here.
Yeah. Hey, I want to add one thing, and then we'll circle back, and I want to ask you about a guy. But a name that you haven't mentioned in a week or two is Ethan Cady. But I want to tell you, I talked to him, and I'm almost like, I was so impressed with how he said, Coach, I'm barreling it up. I'm hitting, because he was on fire. I think he's like a mid-season All-American thing there too, and he was on fire. And then he had a little drop, which we all know happens, right? Again, you can't stay that high. But to show how much his game has matured, he's just like, hey, I'm hitting it hard. I'm doing everything I can do. They're just not falling right now, which is the exact thing you want to hear a kid say.
For sure.
And I say that not to talk about Ethan not doing well, but to talk about how far he's come and what a great approach that is.
Yeah. I mean, and like we talked about last week, and especially in college, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And, you're going to have times where, you're not squaring it up, but, you're turning in 2 for 4 games, everything's just going for you at that time. And then you're going to have times like this, where, you're barreling balls and so forth. But yeah, that's really good to hear, because he's staying the course and understanding, like, it's a long season. You're going to have times where you're hitting it right at them. You have times where it doesn't feel like there's anybody out in the field. And, so yeah, that's really good to hear from him. Like I said, that for him, he was always one that kind of beat himself up too much. So it's good to see him having that approach for sure.
Yeah, I just thought that was worth talking about, because you don't see that on the numbers or anything.
Absolutely.
Good for him, and good for someone else that may struggle with that. To see that they can overcome that. That's just a mindset. I want to circle back to Paul Comstek and talk about him, because it seems like you mentioned his name just about every single week. So let's talk about him a little bit. Yeah,
he's one that, going back to, Sean Kearney, he went to Tennessee out of high school, and just like so many, I mean, this isn't a knock on Tennessee. It's not a knock on, I mean, it is what it is. You see people transferring all the time. You see it, it worked out. Sometimes it's a depth issue at certain schools. And for him, he signed with Tennessee, went to Tennessee. After his first year, he kind of looked at it and said, okay, hey, got some guys in front of me. I'm going to go try to find somewhere else to go play. So he went to Cincinnati. This year, at the beginning of the year, he got off to a slow start, but he's one that is a tireless worker. He's going to be somebody that, regardless if things are going good or things are going bad, he's going to continue to put in the same amount of work regardless. And, like I said, at the beginning of the year, I mean, I think he was off to like a 1 for 16 or so forth, because he hit a home run the first weekend against Clemson, but that was about all he had to show for it. Well, now just to show you, like we talked about, bring it up for the 1,000th time, it's a marathon. He's now hitting 388, 5 doubles, 4 home runs, 21 RBIs. He's also a guy that has, he's a 6'6", 6'7" runner. So for him, and not just him, but a lot of our guys, it's one of those things where, just because it might not work out one place does not mean it's not going to work out somewhere else. And for him, it was really good to see him, everything ended on good terms in Tennessee. For him, it was a mutual thing. Hey, we got a lot of depth. He knew that. So he went somewhere where, he felt like he would get more opportunities, and he's getting those opportunities and taking everything in stride. But at the same sense, though, he's also somebody that, like we talk about every week, his parents are great people. It always, I would say his persistence and, the way that he's continuing to push towards what he wants, a lot of that has to do, with his home life and how well he was raised.
For sure. I mean, that's just such an important thing. Because I was talking to someone today about, we all have certain pillars of our lives, the people that have helped us be who we are. And I'm getting a little bit of problem with my internet here. Do you still have me?
Yep, I still got you.
Let's see. Okay. All right. It froze. It just froze for a second. You're frozen here, but that's okay. Dylan can fix that.
That's right.
But anyway, we have these pillars of our lives where, everything that we become rests on those things, the people that have built us up. And so often in baseball and guys that are in our program, so often we go back to great home life, great family, not necessarily even a great home life, but a great family that's great and very supportive. And that cannot be understated in its importance.
Yep.
So I think something to unpack out of that, Brandon, is, a lot of people get caught up on, I'm D1, I'm SEC, I'm whatever. None of that matters if you're not getting to play. Yep. You just want to play.
That's right.
I mean, go somewhere where you can play.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
Good for him. Good job.
It's one of those things too, where, even from our side, all the guys in our organization, like our coaches that I'm close with, they all know, for me, I got a much bigger soft spot for some of the people that don't have a very good home life. And we do have, a few of those. And for us, I tell them all the time, nobody ever sits there and says, oh, he's, laid back. He's not going to be hard on you. That's not what anybody's going to say about me. But a lot of the coaches will say, hey, you're different with so-and-so, and, you're not as, you're more understanding and so forth. For me, it goes back to that, not having that home life and so forth. If they're not getting it from not just me, but if they're not getting it from somebody else, they're not getting it from anywhere. So I think that's one of those things that's an important part of what we do, is realizing, okay, this person might need to, be, I don't know, gotten onto a little bit harder, because at home, he's getting, loved on at home, and, he's not, he's not getting, beat down here, and then also getting beat down, when he goes back to the house. So for us, verbally just being, encouraging to a lot of those guys and not beating them down, and kind of hopefully being the encouragement, the positive side for them. But, like I said, everybody talks about, you got things in life that are more important. And that's one of those things that's more important. So as much as we sit here and talk about, because we got so many kids that come from unbelievable families and so forth, but it's even more impressive that some of these guys, can come from, some certain situations and turn out as good as they are. And it shows you not necessarily their family, but it shows you what's inside of them. So again, that's we've got a lot of really good kids that are on both sides of the fence with that.
We absolutely do. Let's transition in talking about kids, college kids. Let's go to high school and talk about some of our guys in high school. Like you said, we are closing in on the playoff time here. So we got some guys that are separating themselves. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, just to jump into it, last night, Luke Lowry, 3-4, triple run scored. Brody Jenner, 2 innings scoreless relief for Gordon Lee. Bo Rudy, 2023, really having a really good year. 5 innings, no runs, 5 strikeouts for Gordon Lee. Ryan Langford, 2-for-4, 2 runs scored for Cahola Creek. Elijah Gallion, 2-for-3, ETSU signee Elijah Gallion, 2-for-3, a home run, 2 RBIs. 2024, Hudson Luderman continues to have a really good year for Knox Catholic, 2 for 4, double, 2 RBIs. Nolan Sargent, another 2024 for McCallie, 2 for 3. He was 3 for 5, I believe, on Monday. So it's good to see him continuing to roll here. Lee University signee Ashton Simmons went 5 innings last night, gave up no runs, 8 strikeouts for Bradley. He also went 2 for 4 at the plate and got the save on Monday for Bradley. 2022 MTSU commit Cole Torbett, complete game, just gave up 2 hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts, 1-0 win for Science Hill. Colin Hornbuckle continues to have a really good year, 2 for 4 for Boaz, Alabama. Jacob Tobias, 2023, 2 for 2, double, triple, 4 RBIs. Turner Junkins, Silverdale. Silverdale continues to have a strong year, 3 for 4 with a double, 3 RBIs. Like I said, Nolan Sargent on Monday had a really good day too. 2023 Riley Byers. He's one, I've brought it up before, and what we just talked about. He's somebody who's had to overcome a lot of adversity, not because his home life wasn't good, but just because of from health issues inside the family and so forth. So really good to see him continuing to thrive here. 6 innings, just gave up 1 run, 12 strikeout for Gibbs. Vito Valencia's 2001 South Carolina signee, 3 for 4, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs on Monday. Cooper Kenny, 2 for 4, double, RBI for Baylor on Monday. Danny Corona's having a really good year. Wake Forest signee. He had a 2-run home run on Monday. I actually saw him last Friday against CAK. He had another 2 for 3 game with 2 doubles there. Virginia commit Henry Godbout, 3 for 4, double, RBI on Monday. ETSU 2021 signee Hudson Siegler, 2 for 3 with a run scored and a 3-2 win for Farragut. Cooper Castillo, one of your guys last year, he was really good on Monday. He got himself in a little bit of trouble with some leadoff walks and so forth, but always pitched around it. He gave up, 1 earned run, but in my book, both of those plays should have been made. So, but still, he was 6 innings, 1 run, got the win, 8 strikeouts for Bradley. Bryce Berkey is having an unbelievable year for Farragut. Cleveland State signee, home run for Farragut, 2 RBIs in their 3-2 win. Hudson Luderman, once again, was 2 for 3 with a double, 4 RBIs on Monday. Brody Johnson, 2 for 3, double, 2 RBIs. Junkins on the mound on Monday went 6 scoreless, gave up just 3 hits, 6 strikeouts. Good to see him starting to get a little bit of traction here. Zach Hodge, he actually went 8 innings on the mound, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs. Well, the first thing you think is 8 innings. That's a lot of pitches, but he actually did that in 85 pitches. So,
Wow.
Impressive pitching to contact. It's impressive on his part. Will Pryor, 2022, 5 innings, no hits, no runs, 8 strikeouts against Bledsoe County. And one thing I wanted to make sure I added in, is, you brought it up all ago with the college side. Ethan Cady was named a second team midseason All-American by perfect game. And then Ron Hagenow was named a midseason freshman All-American. So congrats to those guys. And, like I said, we got a lot of guys at the high school level, college level, doing a lot of really good things, and proud of all of them. And, looking for them all to finish strong here.
I saw Ryan pitch against Mississippi State. So I think that was his first. It was a Friday game. It's his first SEC start. There's nothing like putting you in a very tame environment, like putting it at Mississippi State. It's no big deal. That's there's no tradition. There's no environment or atmosphere there. Just go ahead and roll out there and throw, Mr. Freshman.
See, I was actually texting with one of the Kentucky coaches, and he got himself into some trouble, when really he usually never. I mean, I think he had 3 walks, 3 hit by pitches, stuff that he doesn't do. Right. Well, just from experience, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can play at certain places, but when you go to an environment like that and you're not used to it, and you've got people hammering you, yelling at you, it's loud. It's a tough gig for a freshman. Yeah. But I think it's probably the definition of throwing you into the fire there. But I think in the long run, he's gonna take some lumps. Just like everybody that's a freshman that goes into a powerhouse conference like the SEC, he's going to take some lumps, but at the same breath, he's going to come out, the other side, for the better. And he's kind of bouncing back and forth between some midweek stuff and in the SEC. But like I said, he's off to a good start. But yeah, that's a tough thing. It's tough.
I mean, it's not like Kentucky's not trying to win. They're trying to win. So they believe in the guy. And instead of maybe looking at it and going, God, I can't believe they did that. Look and go, look how much they believe in Ryan Hagan.
Oh, for sure.
I do. I mean,
that's one thing, I would say is I don't blame him. I'd throw him out there too, because, somebody like him with the stuff that he has, he's a guy that, and it was a Thursday night game too. So they wanted to keep their Friday, Saturday guys on schedule. So that's a guy on Thursday night. You sit there and say, okay, hey, if he's electric tonight, we could sneak a win. And then on Friday, we've got our Friday guy going against their Saturday guy because they went their Friday guy on Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you sneak that game out right there, you're sitting really good for the rest of the weekend. So yeah, I don't blame him at all. I probably would have done the same thing.
No, there's plenty of positives. It would have freaked me out if I had been Ryan. But when you step back and look at it, you go, well, that's an awful big compliment.
Yeah, for sure.
Proud for him, proud for our guys, and look forward to seeing what they can continue to accomplish, because we have got a ton of names. Now, let me say one thing before we go here. All those names, all those guys are sending you their stats, right? You don't have to do any work to compile them or anything. They all have their people sending you the stuff.
Yeah, so something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah. I just want
every single night, I'd say from probably 8 to 10 o'clock, we get a lot of stuff sent to us. Now the college side, we're having to go back and thankfully I sucked at a lot of things in school, but math was always something I was good at. So adding and subtracting and so forth, their weekend stuff. Me and Boshears, we've kind of mastered that. But yeah, it's one of those things like like we've talked about. It's time consuming, but at the same breath, we think that our guys benefit from it, and we're promoting them and so forth. So yeah, definitely time consuming though.
Right, and I want people to see that. I mean, it's you're sitting there and you're naming 20 guys in college, and then you name 20 guys in high school, and that's just a number I threw out there. I didn't count, but it's a lot, and you don't have anybody doing that. You're doing it, and it's easy for people to sit around and say this or that or whatever. But the fact that you're doing that shows that you're supporting those guys, even when they're not playing actively for exposure right now.
Right.
So I appreciate you doing that. Nobody else will probably say that, but I notice it, and it's a lot of work. And but on the other hand too, I think guys should send you their stuff, not be afraid to do that and say, hey, I had a good day. There's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, you could use the help for sure, not because you're going to go find it, but send it. But anyway, appreciate the work that you put into that, because it's a lot. You're rolling those stats out of there. That's obvious. You've had to put a lot of time into it. So thank you for doing that for our guys.
Yeah, no problem. Honestly, it's like we've talked about.
Anyway, we will shut it down now. We'll talk next week about.
No, I think we're freezing up there a little bit. But yeah, no, I was just going to say, it's for us, a lot of times it's like watching your own kid play and so forth. So, even though they're in their high school seasons and so forth, we're still proud of them and still love keeping up with them. So as much as time consuming as it is, it's also one of those things that we take a lot of pride into it, and we also enjoy it in the same sense. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. But yeah, like I said, coming down the home stretch here, hopefully our guys finish up strong.
Yep. Well, I know they will, and I know we're looking forward to getting them at the end of May, but hopefully many of them will have championship rings on their fingers when they come to us. So
that's right.
Thanks for the time, Brandon. Thanks for the information, and thanks for throwing kids' names out there. We will talk again next week. This has been the rundown for the man, Brandon Turner. This is Greg Payne. Everybody have a good week.